So I should have started recording. Good morning, all. Thank you for joining us for our July monthly coordinator training webinar. Today, our speaker really needs no introduction, however. Let me introduce Bethany Albrecht. She is the administrator for Woodford County Health Department, and we're really happy to see her back with us. And she's going to talk about Preparedness Month and some tips and tricks and suggestions for ideas that you could employ. We wanted to present this a little bit earlier so you had time to prepare for September. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Bethany. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm going to go ahead just to make sure that I don't mess up connection or everything. I'm going to go ahead and shut my camera off. All right. So as you can see, I've titled this, I feel very appropriate, is a playbook for MRC leaders during National Preparedness Month. We're all in the field of preparedness and volunteer management. But however, Preparedness Month tends to creep up on us. So let's dive on in. So these are the topics that we're going to be covering today. Planning your strategy, because strategy is very important. Going over goals and themes, timeline, community engagement, recruitment, social media, how to measure your success, and then how to prepare internally. So planning your Preparedness Month strategy. It's important to have goals and themes. Throughout anything that you want to do, if you don't have a clear defined goal, you will never get where you're going. When you are putting together a goal, you need to clearly define your focus area or areas. We don't just wear one hat. None of us do. You cannot, let me repeat, cannot do it all. Some of us like to think we can, but it's impossible. When you define your goals, make sure that they're SMART goals. When you're working on defining these goals, just like anything else in our field, planning them, thinking about them, putting them together, doing them in a silo, not a good idea. Make sure that you're involving your team. Bring in volunteers, because it's always important to get other thoughts, other ideas as you're moving along this process. And then it's always important to track your progress. Consider looking to see what's out there. Look at best practices. So throughout school, we're always told, don't plagiarize, cite your sources, and make sure that always be original. When we get into the field, always look to see what other people have done, what's been successful, what's not been successful, and it's considered best practices. Consider aligning with national themes. For National Preparedness Month, there's always documents and themes and trends that are put out there. You can or cannot align with them. It's completely up to you. If you want to pick a theme of your own, that's fine as well. So, a timeline. Preparedness Month, like I said, is going to be here before we know it. So take a look at a pre-launch phase between June, August, so we're right in the middle. This is the time when you're going to look at campaign materials, community partners, training any volunteer leaders that you're going to bring along this process with you. In September is where you're going to put it all together. You're going to host your events, engage your media, do your social channels, and the whole kit and caboodle. And then post-month momentum. So taking everything you've done in September and continuing that along, following up with your leads, onboarding any new volunteers that you gain, and then how to take a look at what went well and what didn't go so well. Messaging and themes. anymore when you were taking a look at emails, messages, postcards. It's important to be clear and concise with what you're putting out. The shorter, the better. It's important to note that everyone absorbs messages differently. Emphasize public service and readiness. As you see here, there's some short, very short and sweet to the point quotes. Be ready to serve, be ready to respond. Preparedness needs you. Join the Medical Reserve Corps. Like I said, these are just some examples. The national, so nationally, they'll put out themes, they'll put out messaging. You can find kits out there, or sometimes the state will do the same thing and they may take it and tweak it just a little bit. And we all know what we're looking for when it comes to target audiences. As you see here, we have everything from retired healthcare professionals, community-minded residents, and then local and faith-based organizations and students. What I've always said in the past, as long as you're 18 or older and have a heart to help, we'll welcome you. So community engagement. Believe it or not, even as volunteer managers, sometimes this piece seems to get overlooked. So what is community engagement? It's connecting with the public. You need to remember that you are the bridge between your unit and the community. You're that face. You are that voice. You are out there making sure that the efforts are reflecting the local needs and values of your community. It's building partnerships. You're collaborating with your schools, faith-based groups, agencies, nonprofits. The more you're out there, the more reach you make, and the more resources that you're able to connect with. It's empowering volunteers, empowering those that are currently in your unit, because word of mouth is very good. Creating opportunities for volunteers to lead. Some volunteers are going to want to come to help, and then some stay on and they want to become leaders. Promoting equity, meaning you want to prioritize underserved populations and tailor outreach to meet resources and their unique challenges. Not everyone in your community is the same. And then it's creating visibility, organizing events, sharing stories, and then taking those messages and using them strategically to raise awareness. But why does it actually matter? Because it boosts preparedness. Believe it or not, engaged communities are more resilient and they're better equipped to respond to emergencies. We've seen this. It strengthens your volunteer retention. Volunteers that are connected with their community and mission are more likely to stay active. And most importantly, it enhances public health. Through the education and outreach that we offer with the MRC and that you offer locally, we're helping to, prevent illness and promote wellness year-round. Training and readiness.
What the hell?
Emergency preparedness drill.
Oh, no, come on.
You know how it works. Once a quarter, keep our readiness up. Now, rise and shine, sleepyhead. Half the town is probably dead.
I have to get a lock from my door.
I think you'll like the drill tonight. I've tried to make it fun. Each of these cards contains a detailed scenario of a possible apocalyptic event. Everything from wildfires to a surprise invasion by Canada. Pick a catastrophe, any catastrophe.
Sheldon, Canada is not going to invade California.
Really? You think those hippies in Washington and Oregon can stop them?
Fine.
All righty. An 8.2 magnitude earthquake devastates Pasadena, reducing mighty edifices to dust, engulfing the city in flames. The streets flow with blood and echo with the cries of the wounded. Oh, excellent choice. Now, put on your hard hat and safety vest.
Oh, fun. I get to spend another night in front of our apartment dressed like one of the village people.
You make that joke every 3 months. I still don't get it. Leonard, wait. What are you doing?
I don't know. What am I doing?
Look around you. There's hypothetical broken glass everywhere. Really? You're going to face Armageddon without your orthotics? Your choice. Uh-oh, hypothetical aftershock. And that's why we wear hard hats.
Well, they know how to train. So why do we train? Why do we train volunteers? Why do we go out in the community and train? Because we build life-saving skills out in the community, within our units. And by doing that, we can help support our communities. We offer courses like CPR, Stop the Bleed, and psychological first aid. A lot of you on this call have either been through and offered these to your unit or offer these out in your community. Remember that. Offering these during National Preparedness Month can really highlight the value of your unit and inspire people to sign up and join. It helps clarify roles, which is very important in volunteer management. By training together, it helps volunteers and staff understand their responsibilities before, during, and after emergencies. The last thing you want is for something to happen and volunteers show up and they have no idea what they're supposed to be doing. Or they do something they're not supposed to be doing because they just want to help. It boosts confidence. Practicing those scenarios helps to reduce panic and improves decision-making under pressure. If you're asked to make a decision on something that you've never practiced, you've never trained on, you've never done before, making that decision is extremely difficult and it puts you under pressure. Imagine what it's doing to a volunteer. Someone that's showing up to help because they have the heart to help, but they don't have any training or background. They may or may not be confident in that decision. Do you really want them making that choice? It helps prepare for the unexpected. I like to consider this the Murphy. Why? Because the minute you don't prepare for it, Murphy likes to join us. Emergencies can strike at any time. We know this. One thing I like to say here, our weather radio tends to go off every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. Severe weather, tornado watches, tornado warnings. Wednesdays like clockwork. I'm pretty sure Mother Nature has just decided Wednesdays about 3:45 it's going to go off. So, but we prepare for the unexpected. We just now have a day and time. So, by making sure that your volunteers are prepared for the unexpected, that you can work to promote being prepared for the unexpected, it helps make a more resilient community. It's also important to help think outside that typical box of what we consider an emergency. So when you think of an emergency, most of us automatically jump to a natural disaster, a tornado, a flood, things like that. But what's an emergency to you? A car accident? Your washer and dryer went out? That's an emergency. That falls under preparing for the unexpected. It's a fiscal emergency, an automobile emergency. Those qualify as well. Think big, think small. Strength and community resilience. So when individuals and organizations, which we know, are ready, recovery is faster and less chaotic. We're all chaos coordinators in one form or another. And by being prepared, we can get back to our sense of norm quicker. We like getting back to our sense of norm. And then it also helps support vulnerable populations by helping individuals have those readiness plans in place. Where are you going to go in your house? Who are you going to call? It helps to promote disaster response. So, how do you fit in? In this particular scenario, offer targeted trainings. Use MRC Train to your benefit. I'm not saying that you need to go out in every municipality and offer these trainings. That's impossible. Use MRC Train to your benefit. There are so many trainings out there that you have the ability to offer that can either offer a certificate. Sometimes volunteers just like a certificate with their name on it that they completed a class. If you have healthcare volunteers, they like a 0.51 CEU. That's available on there. Run drills and exercises. Use those pre-established tabletops and drills with your volunteers and get them excited. Make it fun. It doesn't have to be a tornado tabletop. Do something completely out of the ordinary. Make it fun. And then update your plans. Consider updating your plans. We all talk about how important it is to update. How many of you have that binder that's sitting on the shelf that has dust on it that we need to pull off and blow off the dust or wipe it off? And then consider tiers for your team.
Have a good weekend.
That activity level, because some volunteers want to be extremely active, others not so much. Or even a participation policy. And help to promote that. So that way when you're out there and you're working on recruitment, which we're going to talk about here next, they can know what you're expecting. So recruitment tactics. So the reason I have chess in the background here is because recruitment isn't just getting people in the door. It's getting them in the door, it's keeping them, and it's making sure they stay involved. So one consideration is a social media blitz. If you have this option available, some do, some don't. Consider sharing volunteer stories, tips, and tricks. Consider why I serve snippets, a short little video. Why did you become a volunteer? Why is this fun for you? And don't forget to share your sign up link. Do you have a quick, easy way that people can go to your website and sign up? Go to your Facebook page and sign up. And if it's a QR code, have it available, print at your office or to hand out. Don't make it a QR code so people can look at it on their phone. They're not able to scan it that way. Ask your partners to share your posts. So you work with your community partners on a daily basis, ask them to share your posts. And then what about a hashtag strategy, like hashtag join MRC, and then have your volunteers share their experience photos. A picture says 1,000 words, especially if they're having fun doing something with you guys. And then consider using September as a countdown with daily tips and then a call to volunteer. And consider how important and how impactful it would be if that call to volunteer came from a volunteer. So another thing to consider would be local events. So town hall collaboration, working with local governments to present the MRC community impact at city or local village councils, boards of health, county board. A lot of these meetings have public input. or where you can just share information, having a flyer available, having an invitation available. So that's one consideration. Community group presentations. Having these presentations to give at libraries or Kiwanis meetings, Rotary meetings, things like that. Have that canned presentation ready to go and then make that outreach ahead of time. Consider a small giveaway. That way everybody can enter to win. Like an item that your unit may have picked up from the marketing shopping page, that everybody can sign up on one of those tickets, enter, and then when they stay for the presentation, you can pick out a name. Consider hosting or participating in a preparedness fair. Remember, it's National Preparedness Month. So emergency management is also very involved. Maybe they're doing a preparedness fair, or you can work together and put together a preparedness fair. Preparedness demos, touch a truck, or simulation drills. Look at other community events that you haven't considered in the past. Farmers markets, if there's 4-H fairs, things like that. Other departmental programs that you can talk with about integrating preparedness, like car seat safety or child stickers that go on the back of car seats. What about aligning your event with the 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance to highlight MRC's public service impact? It's always important to note partner amplification. We work with these community partners every day. But what other partners are in your community, preparedness or otherwise? Is there anyone that you have yet to consider? Work with them to amplify your message. Consider hosting a live Q&A session about what it's like to be a volunteer and use that session to address myths and experiences. Work with your public information officer and put together a media release ahead of time. Remember, short, sweet, to the point. Collect hours and the economic value of those volunteer hours for release. Numbers do matter. So building a social media campaign. So when you're building a social media campaign, it's very important, again, to define your goals. Is your main goal to recruit, to bring awareness, or to drive traffic to a website or an information page? Make sure that you're identifying your audience. Is what you're sharing looking to really target students, for example? Develop core messaging. What are you truly focusing on? Create a content calendar. Plan daily or weekly posts for September. Like on Mondays, you're going to do volunteer spotlights, and on Wednesdays, you're going to share preparedness tips, and Fridays, do a behind the scenes look at, drills or MRC impact. When you're putting together that content calendar, type it out ahead of time and have it digitally. Copy and paste will be your best friend. So on a lot of these platforms, you can plan things out ahead of time. Gather visuals. Photos are phenomenal. Photos of volunteers in action, even better. What about infographics? A lot of agencies and organizations are using Canva as an example to create infographics for different programs. What about one using Canva to do MRC statistics and impact? Consider a short reel, 30 to 60 seconds, explaining on how to sign up or get involved. Or branded templates to look consistent for the look and the feel of what you're looking to share. And then choose the platform. Are you going to try and do everything all at once per platform? Or are you really going to hone in on one or two? Make sure that you know what audience you're looking for, though. The reason I say that is because if you're looking for Facebook and Instagram, you're looking for a general community outreach and visuals. For X, or formerly known as Twitter, that's what you're looking to do for quick updates. And then disaster response, your hashtags, short, sweet, to the point. For LinkedIn, it's typically used to engage retired professionals and students. And then YouTube is used for longer volunteer testimonials or training clips. That's where I got the training video that I showed earlier. And then finally, launch and engage. Make sure that you're posting regularly and consistently throughout the month. If you post 1 time, 2 times, 3 times at the beginning of the month and then you share nothing after that, you're not really going to get much traffic. Consider using campaign hashtags like Join MRC, Preparedness Month, things like that. Encourage comments if you're able. Each agency has their own social media policy and what they can and can't do. But encourage reposts. Tell your volunteers that, hey, my agency is going to be sharing this information. Pardon me. My agency is going to be sharing this information about our local MRC and what we can do. And we know we want to continue to do these wonderful things. Help us out by sharing these posts. And then tag your local partners and use geotagging. Where are you? Who are you with? And then make sure you give credit where credit's due. If you're volunteering at a local food pantry because they've asked for your assistance, make sure you tag that local food pantry. So you've gone through all this work and you've done all these things. How do we measure our success? So recruitment, you can take a look at recruitment outcomes. What did you get for new signups? You can track how many new volunteers registered during the campaign or immediately after. However, it's important to note and have a streamlined process of exactly where the volunteer can sign up. Do you have a one-way application process? One system to which they can sign up? And do they know how to access it? Retention rate. How many actually follow through with onboarding and training or participation? So they get signed up. What's next? Do they need to come in and meet with you? Are they required to complete a background check? At what level did they finish? And then social media engagement. What's great about this is there are so many ways to measure it. So what was your reach? How many people actually saw what you posted? On the back end, there are several ways that you can track this. Take a look at your engagement rate. How many total interactions did you have on your social media platform? Likes, comments, shares, clicks, and then divide that by that total impression. What was your click-through rate? Which is the percentage of people who actually clicked on your links and your posts, especially the ones for your volunteer sign up. Because you know that those individuals were looking to see, okay, this looks interesting. I want to take a look at what it's going to take to sign up and go from there. And then your hashtag performance. Track those mentions of campaign hashtags like join MRC. Website and digital performance. So if you're pushing them to a specific website, if you're pushing them to your homepage, you can track the landing page traffic. How many visits to your MRC sign up or information page? Take a look at that number. Watch how it rose throughout the month. The form completion rate. If you have a digital volunteer form, how many individuals actually visited the page and filled it out, and to what amount? And the time on the page. So they get on your website, they get on different pages of your website. How long did they stay? That's always an interesting metric because longer times actually suggest that they have a strong interest in what you do. And then event and community feedback. When you're out in the community, take a look at the event attendance. If you have the ability, count how many people actually showed up. How many people came to your booth? How many people came to your event? Sometimes that's extremely difficult. But when you are there, when your volunteers are there, and you have information, or if you have the ability to have goodies, how many people actually came? How many people took from what you brought and what you brought back? Are you going to use surveys or feedback forms? You can ask attendees what they found helpful, what could be improved, and if they're likely to join your MRC. You can use these at events, you can use them at trainings, at the community presentations at libraries or different organizational presentations. And ask your volunteers. Ask. You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes just admitting that we don't know is extremely important because we don't have all the answers. But by getting those insights from current MRC volunteers of what's going well, what's not going so well is extremely important. But have them take a look at the campaign from the outside and see what the impact is and what they've heard while they're out in the community. Media and partnerships. So, coverage count. You've sent out publications, you've sent out information, you've sent out things on social media. So, how many articles were actually published? You can put out news releases, but that doesn't mean they're going to go anywhere. But did they? How many articles were put out? How many interviews were conducted? If you had the ability to get on a radio show, or how many media mentions were out there? Partner participation. How many organizations actually shared your content? If you tagged them in a post, if you wanted them to share, how many actually assisted you? Or how many actually became interested in what your organization had the ability to assist with or could partner with you about? Because they understand the importance of volunteerism and preparedness throughout the community. Preparedness Month has the ability to be what we make it. Like I said, when it comes to emergency preparedness, sometimes we focus on the large disasters, the large emergencies.
No, not yet.
But we also have the ability to make a
That's gonna be
huge
next week.
difference.
Yeah, I can sit on my phone.
Did somebody have a question? Okay. Sorry, to get my brain back on track there. But we also have the ability to make a huge difference for each individual. Consider what an individual would look at as an emergency and maybe start there. If at any time you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I know I've worked with a lot of you. One that is currently sitting outside my office door. Apologies in advance. But anyway, you guys all do amazing work, and I want you to remember that. But Preparedness Month is a wonderful opportunity for us to make a big impact throughout our local communities. So take this as the opportunity to plan and prepare before it gets here.
Thank you so much, Bethany. Um, If you have any questions, please put it in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself. I'll kick us off. So we all know that there's been a number of cuts that are coming down through FEP and HPP. With that limited resource, Bethany, if you had to pick your top idea that you would employ yourself for your MRC, which one would you choose of the suggestions you gave?
I just want to make sure I mute myself. First, I would take a look at my capacity.
Mhm.
And see what we had the ability to do. And that's honestly where I would start. And because each unit is different,
Mhm.
and because some units have larger capacities than others. Here, there's a wide variety of things that we could do. We've been out at the community for different fairs and educational opportunities. Volunteers have been out in the community. But sometimes just starting with a plan and having that put together first
Mhm.
and starting small. We eat an elephant one bite at a time, and just remembering that you don't have to do everything all at once. That's where I would start.
Okay, great answer. And you also brought to mind that your jurisdictions, those in the that are attending this call, this webinar, varies. So what may work for a rural area may not be, something that would be the top choice for a more suburban or metro area and vice versa. So, okay, let me put it to the floor. Any questions? I don't see any questions in the chat. Any questions from the audience? Please unmute or raise your hand. We are quiet today. Oh, go ahead, Don.
I'm driving, so I didn't see Bethany because I didn't have a camera because it's kind of busy around IDPH OPR today. We have Teresa Toller, who is a longtime servant for Preparedness. She started Chicago Department of Public Health when back in early 2000s, and she carried it over to IDPH OPR as a hospital preparedness coordinator, and done a wonderful job. But long story short, she's retiring at the end of the month. So today is her little, not her little, but her little, contribution to all her services. Just not to Chicago, but to Illinois, but to our great state of Illinois. And so we're recognizing her on the eve of some changes like you described earlier, not just budget cuts, but people are moving around. And we received a message this morning about people moving around, and just keep listening, especially the health department. But this is what happens, right? So what we're going to continue to do, like Bethany described. Thank you for doing this on the eve. I was trying to hold on to this, but I've been working with the governor's office, for that proclamation, and we're almost in the final phase of that. But I also requested for him to come and present to my folks and anybody else that might want to attend. So that is in the making. I'm going to put it out there because I'm hoping. But if not, know that we recognize what we need to do. And Preparedness Month is a way to kick it off. Even if we kick it off with the proclamation, we are definitely going to get that. It will be signed by him. Who will present it, not sure, but I'm asking. I'm going to ask, right?
Yes.
All I can do is say no, right? So, however that works out, it works out. But just know, continue. Like Bethany described, we appreciate what you do. I appreciate what you do. Makes me want to do it in my community, which I do, because this is my home state. This is where I live. This is where if something goes on, I'm going to have to be able to respond in my state. So thank you guys, and thank you, Bethany, for coming back and doing this presentation.
Thank you, Don. Please give our regards to Teresa. Congratulations to her. Okay. And drive safely. Any other questions? No question is wrong or dumb. I know there's a number of you that might be a little new to your position. There we go. Marcia, please go ahead and unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in your response to your comment about funds being, less funds to be working with, just a suggestion perhaps is like having the other local MRC units around you work together and maybe do things regionally so that we're not redundantly doing things. That might be a way to save some funds. So work together regionally with or in your close proximity so that you can do things maybe on a regional aspect.
That's a wonderful suggestion, Marcia.
Marcia, that's absolutely fabulous. I love that. Um, and that is extremely important because you're right. We can all work together. And if one has the time and the ability to do it, fabulous. And then we can share together.
And you might all have different skill sets. I know Bethany is amazing at social media. She knows the ins and outs. She knows how to work magic with it. I am not. I am not on social media. So yeah, I love that idea that you're pulling your resources together, but also your different skill sets. Love it. Anybody else have? Go ahead, Bethany.
I think one thing we tend to forget as MRC leaders is that even though we're in charge of our own local unit, volunteerism is across every jurisdiction. So volunteer leaders have the ability to work together. So that's always important to remember.
Yes. Well, hang tight, Bethany. Don't leave yet. I'm going to do a real quick reminders to the group. If any questions come up, we look like we have plenty of time, so we'll be able to go back to Q&A. I just want to make sure I get through some reminders for you all. For those that did not hear, Merkel did receive an extension, albeit it was announced a little bit late. So we had expected the grant to end May 30th, and they received notification not too long before that. So we're pivoting, and we want to make sure that we use as much of the funds that are left over to provide resources and leave it with you. So just some reminders. This will work with me. I've been sending monthly newsletters. If you don't receive them, please check your spam folder. Otherwise, let me know if you haven't been receiving them and I can send it to you. Sometimes your health departments or your agencies spam protection might be really, really strong and filter that out completely. I know it's happened to a number of folks that have let me know. So please do check on that. And the reason the newsletters are important is that we try to condense all of the information into one place so that you're not receiving, 5 different emails from us. So I will be sending out July's shortly. And so look for that. In the Merkel website, we launched a new section, the Marketing and Recruitment Resources section. So this will be where you can attain the MRC brochure in 6 translated languages, the digital toolkits, one targeting the college age youth, one healthcare, and we made it a broad definition. So that includes your medical, behavioral health, and allied folks. The MRC recruitment videos are on there as well. So the 2 full-length ones that are about 3 minutes long, and then the short videos that were snippets made from those longer videos. And I think those are easier for you to use for your social media and ads if you happen to want to pay for some ads, but definitely for your social media posts. And we have some that are for the general public, and then we have some that are a little bit more targeted towards your healthcare community. So please check out that section when you have a chance. We are planning to launch in the next month or two another and last emergency preparedness supplies and marketing supplies opportunity to you all. It will be a good hefty budget, so please make sure you are receiving emails from me because the announcement will come through me, and also the newsletter will have information in there. So either way, make sure you're watching your email messages mid-August to end of August. We hope to launch it somewhere there. There is a survey that's out that we're asking, thank you, Andrea, to give us your feedback. Let us know of the items that were offered to you if you did participate in the last two resource opportunities. Which one hits it for you? We want to make sure that we're offering supplies that are relevant to you. And then if you have other ideas, we could certainly swap out the items that didn't, score as high for some items that you were wanting more. So please give us your feedback. That closes Sunday, July 27th, and then we'll build the shopping cart the week after. So any questions about that? Okay. Merkel is also offering volunteer training in the evening, so these will be virtual. The intent is to offer two training topics, potentially more sessions. So let's say the topic is QPR for suicide prevention and awareness, but we might offer the same topic multiple times because we know in order to get certified, the classes have to be a certain size. So this will be offered throughout the entire state. We might not be able to do it in July because we're still getting things squared away, but stay tuned. And then we'll offer two or more of these between July and October. If you have any fantastic opportunities or topics and trainers that you would like to pass on to me that we could look into, please do send that. And these will have to be in the evening, approximately 1.5 hours for your volunteers. So please make sure that once you get the announcements and the information, send it to your volunteers. We don't want to have them miss out on anything that could encourage their engagement and learn new skill sets. We are continuing the infrastructure support, so background checks are still offered and available. Thanks, Andrea. Through Illinois Helps, and this is free to you. We do ask that you limit it to 20 per unit. If you need more, please contact Merkel at mrcillinois@gmail.com, and we can push that request up to the board and get approval for you to be able to have that. There's no deadline to that. You are able to use it until all the funds are expended. The monthly coordinator webinars continue. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate all the participation. The next month, the next 2 months actually are going to be focused on the MRC Strong Grant subawards. And we're asking subawardees to share the highlights, challenges, and outcomes of their projects. We aim to have about 3 presenters for each of the webinars. So please try and join us for that. And then the last webinar that we'll be hosting will be on October, and I'll go through the MRC 101 training for coordinators, as well as the project closeout of this large and complex grant that we've all been enjoying the resources from. If you don't have the calendar invite, please let me know. I assume if you're here, you received it. But if you know of anybody that hasn't been receiving it, please let me know as well. If you miss a webinar, the recordings are going to be posted on the Merkel website under the coordinator page. So as I mentioned very quickly, the MRC 101 for coordinators has been launched. It's on the MRC train. So if you go there and you search for Illinois MRC 101, just even that first phrase, it will show you both the Illinois MRC 101 for volunteers, which we ask all of the new volunteers to take. It's less than 30 minutes, so it's really it would be really helpful for them to do so, and it gives a good overview of the MRC program and what joining the MRC in Illinois might look like. And then the second step for you guys as the MRC coordinators, we want you to also watch the MRC 101 for volunteers and then take the MRC 101 for coordinators. That goes deeper into your position. So we ask all the new coordinators or those that are newly transitioned into that spot to take that. It probably will be about 45 minutes in length. If you have any issues with either of these webinars, please let me know, but we hope that you enjoy this standardized training for all. And then last, I just want to do a shout out and a reminder that if you want to showcase your activities, please send us your calendar activities, whatever your MRC unit might be hosting. So in order to do that, you'll go to the home page, and if you scroll down to about the middle of the page, you'll see a section called List of Events Calendar. So this is on the right-hand side here. And this will allow us to showcase what's going on with your MRC and share it with other folks. If you click on that, it will take you to an event submission form, and you fill that out and let us know if it's a closed activity, but you just want to showcase it, or if you're willing to have other folks come and join you and participate, you could mark that, and then we'll put it into the calendar that will be posted on the Merkle website. So the form is sent to the Gmail. And I think that's it. Any questions? Any questions for Bethany before we end? Okay. Well, if I don't speak with you or chat with you before the weekend, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Region 5 meeting. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you. You are free to drop. Thank you. Thank you, Bethany, so much.